Aha! Okay, so apparently we are live now. I still don't have any viewers because what ended up happening was that on the previous Google Hangout Air type thing, then it kind of looked as if it didn't work. So I just went ahead and started a new one. So hopefully this one will be posted on the Eagle Therapies YouTube link, and then I'll be able to update it. So for those that are just kind of joining in, we still, okay, I see a disregard, I found it. So we are just going to proceed as if nothing happened. Because this is my first time doing a webinar. So my name is Stephanie, and I'm with Eagle Therapies. And so as we can tell, I'm still trying to work out all of the different kinks. Eventually, the second webinar that I have that is happening later on will be for the essential oils and pets. So feel free to go ahead and invite any of your friends to that. So now as we have everything worked out, hopefully, it looks like that we have one viewer. So hi, Elizabeth. Unfortunately, this is not like Google Hangouts. What I did want to do before was Google Hangouts, so then that way we could have a question and answer type of thing. But it looks like that with the Google Air, it just makes you talk and then you post the video up later. So we'll eventually get things right, but for right now, thank you for bearing with me. So let's go ahead and get started because currently it is 7:19. So 20 minutes behind schedule because that's how I roll, ladies and gentlemen. So essential oils, what are they? Just because I have a mixture of different clients from different types of clientele. They come from different areas. So if you are watching for the first time and essential oils and not sure quite what they are are natural extracts from plants that are either steam distilled or cold distilled, or cold pressed, I should say. And the essential oil itself is is 50 to 70 times more potent than dried or powdered herbs, and they can be used because they are more potent, but it's the active ingredients, which are called the chemical constituents, that are the aromatic compounds which make them effective. I have been working with essential oils for probably about the past 4 years, and they've been a really nice tool in my toolbox to kind of help with natural health and wellness. So one of the things that the different grades of essential oils, some of the brands that you will find that are out there on the market, you've got your food grade, you've also got your synthetic grade, and then you've got the therapeutic grade, and then there's the step up from that, which is the certified pure therapeutic grade. Since I am kind of doing this with no brands, just because I tend to work or events that require me to be like brandless. I do work with doTERRA, and they are one of the multi-level marketing companies that are out there. I just want to be plain and clear and open about that. I do also have a clientele base that is Young Living specific as well. So as we talk more about the essential oils, as long as you are aware of the different brands that you are using, just kind of be careful, do your research, and make sure to kind of go with your gut instinct. So with some of the brands that are out there, you do want to be careful, especially with the synthetic grade, because those are one of the 4 main types. And if you want any further clarification, feel free to send me an email at eagletherapies@gmail.com, or you can visit the website. But the first big, which is the probably about 70 to 80, well, I would probably say like maybe at this point now, because doTERRA and Young Living have made it out there as a really big name, I would probably say more like the 60 to 75% bracket of the essential oils that you're going to find are going to be the synthetic grade. And those are the ones most commonly found in a lot of the different Whole Foods, or if you go walk into Trader Joe's or any other place that that sells a lot of natural products, they will tend to have a lot of different scents. And a lot of the time when you find things in the synthetic grade, they will be chemically synthesized in a laboratory to replicate natural smells found in nature. That can be dangerous, especially if they are made out of chemicals, because for example, lavender is an essential oil that is used to treat burns. And if you put a chemical lavender, which is the synthetic grade, onto a burn, it will actually make it worse. So okay, sorry, I'm also trying to do some other things too. So going back to the lavender, then, or synthetic grade, I apologize. This is my first time doing a webinar, so I'm, I'm kind of scattered, so I'm hoping that there will a little bit, so yeah. So then the step up from that would be the food grade. So these are where you get into some of like the olive oils and things like that. And these aren't bad. These can be the ones that you can ingest. So these are the ones that are GRAS standard, which are generally regarded as safe for consumption. So as you kind of go up, you can definitely see that you have to take time in order to know the company, kind of to know the background, and just do your research. One thing that I can try and empower you to do, just because with this, even with the food grade or the therapeutic grade, you can still get a good quality of essential oil. But the thing is that like sometimes, especially in the food grade category, as you step up from purity, then sometimes what they will do is that during the distillation process, they may have a bulk amount of herbs, and they will go ahead and when they have this bulk amount of herbs, then they'll add like a chemical filler to the distillation process, which will which will get a greater yield. And so as you get a greater yield, then and sometimes you don't really know if you're having a reaction to the filler, or if you're having a reaction to the essential oil or the plant material itself. So there are a lot of different questions that go on, especially if you go into the therapeutic grade. There are some mom and pop farms. I mean, no harm to them. They can, I actually do know some people that do distill their own essential oils, and that's completely okay. They do have a lot of different benefits. And the thing is, though, is that when they create these, those types of herbs and everything, you're going to get different properties. And the reason for that is what's called chemical polymorphism. So when we start talking about something like that, I know that that's a big word that I threw out there, but where the plant is grown, as well as how much sunlight it gets, how many nutrients are in the soil, all of that affects the grade and the quality of the essential oil that is going to be distilled out of that product. So if say, for example, somebody does grow Virginia lavender, then it's going to be a really good Virginia lavender, especially with some of my plant friends that I know who talk to their plants and everything like that. So they know that the lavender's grown all nice and happy, and it gets the right nutrients that it needs and everything. But when it takes a lot of herb in order to make an essential oil, so those essential oils are still going to be really good, but they're just going to have different chemical compositions, as well as different therapeutic qualities that are about it. So without getting too much further into it, yeah, those are the reasons why you want to be able to research the brands as well as the labeling. And I'm not trying to knock any other brands out there, but if you're interested in getting any essential oils, then you can definitely message me, or I'm sure that there are some other practitioners out there that would be more than happy to help you. So as we get into today's topic, we will begin exploring the 4 energetic bodies. And what I mean by that is because this is essential oils and energy work. So obviously you're either curious about what energy work actually is, or you want to be able to learn more about it because you've heard either me or some other people talk about it, and it's an interesting topic that you would like to bring up. So as I begin talking about this, I've been an energy work practitioner for probably about 10 years. I've been learning how to manipulate energy and be able to help other people with it within the past 2 or 3 years. So I've been doing it professionally since 2014, and I've just kind of been experimenting here and there. But with Eagle Therapies itself, I established that back in January of 2014. It started with me getting my Reiki master through Akasha's Journey and Mary Alice Merritt. So yeah, if you want all of the other credentials, feel free to visit eagletherapies.org. But the basic principle of energy work is that there's this understanding that there are 4 different bodies. So you have the physical body, the emotional body, the mental body, and the spiritual body. Depending on which cosmology you come from, or depending on how you view the world, they could be different. So some people might have 5, some people might have 3, and all of those are completely okay. I'm just trying to give a basis of how I understand energy work, so then that way when I explain it to other people, they can kind of grasp onto it. So the 4 different bodies are what I am used to. So I'm not saying that any other version is wrong. I'm just saying that that's what I use in order to practice. So going on from there, since we have the 4 different bodies, we should talk about energy cultivation. Just because a lot of the time when you're going around and you're kind of, you've got a lot of stuff on your mind, and you know that sometimes it's very common to walk into a room and for some other person to be like, oh man, that person's really having a bad day. And a lot of the time it's going to be the look on their face, either that or it's going to be how they carry themselves. So all of these are kind of questions that can kind of, for the random observer, they can pick up all of these things and they can psychoanalyze and they can take it in. But for me as an energy worker, I use all of that stuff in combination, as well as the energy that's coming off of them, because our emotional body, as well as our mental body, and as well as our spiritual body, they give off different energy signatures. So like say, for example, if a lot of people have a hard day at work, a lot of people tend to carry their stress in their shoulders. So as they tend to carry their stress, their shoulders start hunching over time. And that is, that can be a malady, just because a lot of the time energetic weight can also put pressure on the emotional body or the mental body. And what it does is that it gradually filters down into the physical body. So I know that this might be a little bit of an abstract concept for some people, but for a lot of people, it does make sense. And especially now, because there is a new awareness of the fact that a lot of people are becoming more aware of an emotional body or an energetic body or any. So when I say energetic body, I'm going to make the assumption that that I'm going to be talking about anything other than the physical body, just to kind of simplify things. So when I say energy body, then that also means that that for right now, it could be any of those other 3 bodies. So so yeah, some of the basic things that I kind of come into contact with, especially with me being an energy worker, are people that have complaints about feeling other people's feelings, or sometimes I run into a lot of the people that that are able to talk to another person and really understand how they feel. And sometimes feel the emotions that they're feeling, either that, or if somebody else is really angry or upset, then sometimes they can become angry or upset themselves. Either that, or if they know that somebody else is extremely sad, and then and so they talk to them for a little bit, and then they kind of become a little bit sad as well. Or people that cry easily at movies. These are all kind of taglines or kind of simple symptoms of being empathic. And so I'm not saying that everybody who displays these symptoms are empathic, but usually empathy is the understanding from one human being to another human being and how they choose to express themselves. So the issue at hand is when people don't set boundaries as clearly. And so when they don't set boundaries or energetic boundaries because they're unconscious or anything like that, they can sometimes, like some of these sensitive or more sensitive people can sit next to a person and they feel good because they're helping their friend, but then their friend unloads all of this emotional stuff on them. And but then for some reason they don't feel that great, and then all of a sudden, you know, they're starting to hunch their shoulders down as well. So so occasionally what ends up needing to happen is a setting of boundaries. And so some of the essential oils that help a lot with the setting of boundaries are going to be some of the auric reinforcement type things. So we start talking about the clove or On Guard, as well as Terra Shield. Forgive me, I apologize, because doTERRA has two different types of essential oils. They have the essential oil blends as well as the essential oil singles. So I think that I should probably be brand neutral, so I don't know exactly how to go about doing that. But they do have the bug repellent blend. So for those that are familiar with that, with doTERRA essential oils, they'll know which one that is. But it has like a very sweet smell to it, and that is a little bit more feminine. So for people that still want to be in conversation with those other people, but they don't want to absorb their stuff as much, but they still want to be in that receptive mode, then Terra Shield, you know what, it's going to be hard for me to adjust to this, but yeah, so Terra Shield is or the bug repellent blend, a good way to kind of, if you apply it and put it on like right here, then you can be able to smell it, and it will be able to reinforce your aura. And so then that way, when you're able to sit and have that conversation with somebody, it is a lot easier to not absorb their feelings, and to be able to say, this is my energy body and that's yours. So I can still help you, I just won't feel drained afterwards. Because a lot of the time people start feeling that they start feeling drained, and it's because when a person is in emotional distress and when they're reaching out to somebody else for help, what ends up happening is that sometimes there is an overgiving of, I want to give you a hug, or I feel bad for your situation, or I feel sorry, or something along those lines. And so there's this tendency of giving away energy in order to kind of compensate for the severe trauma or energy loss that you're helping with somebody else. So Terra Shield is a very nice feminine way in order to kind of set the boundaries. When you start going into some of the more masculine ones, like if you know that you're dealing with an aggressive person, or if you know that you are an extremely sensitive person who is able to feel more than others, then some of the other blends that involve like cinnamon or cassia, or I'm trying to think of some other ones, cinnamon, cassia, or clove. Those are some really good ones that tend to be more masculine. They are more definitive. And so because they are more definitive, they are more like, this is mine, that is your energy over there. So go ahead and go on over there. So yeah, those are just kind of some differences, just because each plant in and of itself has a different feel to it, and as you begin working with some of the different essential oils, they can affect your energy body differently. So yeah, that's kind of what we go into with that. So trying to think of some other ones. Arbor Vitae is a tree that is found in the Pacific Northwest. That is also very good in being able to establish boundaries. So that one is also a very clear, like, I am a bodyguard that is about to protect your energetic body, so nothing else is getting in. So if people are dealing with intense anger, or if they're either that, or if they know that they're going to get into a confrontation with somebody, a lot of the time Arbor Vitae, being that very strong masculine type of smell, will be able to immediately put up a boundary. And sometimes just putting it on is able to kind of help ground you as well. And that is actually a nice segue into the next piece that I will be talking about, which is grounding. So grounding is actually a good energetic practice. A lot of people from different spiritual traditions will commonly use a tree. And so because there is a difference between grounding and centering. So let me go ahead and explain that first, and then I will go ahead and start explaining the different essential oils that are good with it. So as we differentiate between centering and grounding, we tend to have a lot of different different thoughts that run through our head. I especially with eagle therapies, I tend to do a lot of consciousness, like where is your consciousness at now? A lot of the time, especially because we are a Western contemporary society, a lot of our consciousness or our awareness is focused in our head. And so when we have a center that is based in our head, I'm not saying that this is the case for everybody. I'm not saying that this is the case for all of the things thereof. But in my experiences, when an awareness or when somebody's head, that leaves them prone to a lot of that leaves them predisposed to things such as anxiety, or like the fast moving thoughts, either that or it feels like that there's so many thoughts moving at the same time that they can't really get a handle on. Traditionally, as a Western contemporary culture, we've been told that, hey, it's a good thing that you multitask. So here you go with your iPhone as well as all of these different applications, and go ahead and do all of the things all at once because you're meant to do that. And and so it's a pretty silly type of expectation, but unfortunately it is an expectation. And so what that tends to do is that a lot of people, they have to be really quick and they have to be really fast thinking, and they have to be able to be with it in different things. What that does is that speeds up our mentality, that speeds up our energy body, because the flows a lot faster when it's up in the brain. And so when centering, that's what I teach with the heart-centered sound circles or some of the journey groups or anything, is moving our consciousness from our head down into our hearts. And you can do that by simple energy work, like energy breathing, or like just breathing techniques, like making sure to slow down your breath, because a lot of the time when we have our consciousness in our minds, then we tend to have a faster paced thinking, which the faster paced thinking can also lead to elevated heart rate. So by being able to control something that is as simple as breathing and being able to calm that down, a lot of the time the heart rate will follow with it. Aromatherapy is really good in terms of being able to handle something like that. So by taking an essential oil, putting it in the palm of your hands, rubbing your hands together and breathing it in, what that does is that's able to hit really quickly. And that's going to be the most effective way in order to deliver the essential oil to your energetic body, is by smelling it, because it's directly connected to the limbic system, which is connected to the amygdala in the brain, which is the control center that's responsible for emotions, heart rate, blood pressure, all of those other different things. So I apologize for not getting into that sooner. Like I said, I'm a little bit scattered because I'm 20 minutes behind in this webinar, but that's okay. So let's see. So yes, going back to centering. So as we move our center down, one of the simple exercises that I usually tell my clients to do is to breathe one of the essential oils, and to be able to close their eyes and visualize where a center is. A lot of the time, people will most likely feel some sort of pressure between the eyes, or they will feel something on their head, or like those are some of the most common places, especially because a majority of my clientele, they don't know that much about the energetic body, so they are going to be doing what's most natural for them. And since the Western contemporary culture does not know or understand that much about the energetic body, then most of the time it's going to be up in the head. So as people like breathe in essential oil, close their eyes, and try to visualize a center, that's when you can consciously try and push it down. Either that, or you can try and push it up, because sometimes some people's awareness or consciousness might be lower, which is fine if you are involved romantically with somebody. Either that, or if you're like really, if you're trying to process something and you're going through some really deep emotions, and some people can be stuck in their heart. If sometimes the center moves up, then sometimes people might feel like that there's something stuck in their throat. So I mean, there are a lot of different sayings that go along with something like this. So yeah, it's it's different, but generally where the energy body or the center is most comfortable is going to be the solar plexus. A lot of people say that they feel more comfortable with their center somewhere else. The solar plexus, as I sit up, is right here, and it's right where the ribs meet. So it's that kind of soft, squishy part, right? For women, it's right underneath the breasts. But the solar plexus as a chakra in and of itself, the solar plexus as a chakra in and of itself is responsible for our power center. So this is where we hold our power. This is kind of where we're able to force what I was talking about before with those boundaries. And so some people might throw up shields. Those are like some other good techniques as well, but shields are not meant to be permanent. They're kind of meant to be like temporary, just anyway. Going. So yeah, holding your center in your solar plexus is usually going to be where you can make the best decisions from, just because you're acting from within your power center. So some of the essential oils which are meant to bring about a good awareness of that are going to be some more of the citrus oil. Favorite oils to use is going to be lemon, because lemon is very much yellow, and especially because the solar plexus in and of itself is a yellow chakra, it's able to kind of help bring out that center. So I always view it as like sunshine in a bottle. So whenever I breathe it in my hands, if I'm feeling a little bit scattered, it helps focus the energy. But really, almost any essential oil would be good for centering, because a lot of the time when we feel so scattered, it's actually better to use an essential oil to focus that energy. So then that way it's in one focal point. So that's a difference between grounding, because like between centering and grounding, because grounding is actually more, you have excess energy, and instead of focusing it, what you're doing is you're getting the excess energy out of your energetic body. So a lot of people tend to visualize that they are a tree, and they close their eyes and they just pretend. So I mean, with kids, it's really super simple. And I have a 7-year-old, so my 7-year-old is actually starting to ground, and he's been meditating for a while. He does go to Journey Group with me. So I mean, this can be taught. It's a good thing. So yeah, some of the different things, especially when we feel very overwhelmed or when we are in a reactive state, a lot of the time our consciousness is still up in our head. So so when we start introducing something like grounding, which will actually help relieve a lot of the anxiety and oh my God. So just because a lot of the energy that's more top heavy tends to be more like that, as you can't even see my hand. And then move lower into the body, then it moves at a much slower pace. So a lot of people say that the energy that's down more towards the root, which is the first chakra, it feels more like a heartbeat. So like it's very boom, 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 boom. And so that can immediately ground people too, if they can kind of just hear a heartbeat, or if they smell some of the different smells in association with that. So some good smells or some good scents that are accompanied with grounding are going to be like the arbor vitae is a good one. I tend to use cypress, so cypress is one of my favorites. There is a blend called the grounding blend, so I think that it's different depending on which company that you use, but it's like a base of white fir, spruce, and frankincense, a couple of different things like that. Some people say that they can ground with frankincense, and and that is perfectly fine. Some people, if that works for you, then that works for you. In my experience, frankincense tends to be more correlated with the third root, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. So frankincense is more of a higher vibratory type of essential oil, so it can be really good for focusing, and if you are good with the woodsy type smells, it can ground some people, but sometimes I have seen frankincense elevate people, and it helps open them up to being able to meditate a lot easier. Either that, or it opens them up in order to enter journey space a lot easier too. So especially when you start thinking about altered states of consciousness in which you are trying to pair the energetic body with something, then yeah, the frankincense and sandalwood, those tend to be the higher vibratory ones, which help open you up here. But for grounding, some more of the cypress or Douglas fir, but Douglas fir can sometimes be elevating as well. But it just, these are lines, and everybody is going to respond differently to essential oils. So yeah, it just kind of depends. So and then trying to think of some other ones as I open up my box. Eucalyptus can sometimes be grounding. Some people report that wintergreen is also good at grounding as well. What you're going to be looking at is more of the root. The most effective one that I've seen for grounding is actually vetiver, because vetiver is a root in and of itself. We distill the essential oil from the root. So a lot of the time, if people are really sad, either that, or if I'm making a blend for them and with chronic anxiety or anything like that, that like vetiver can help assist with that. So especially when you have the fast moving thoughts and things like that. So it just kind of helps pull everything back. So yeah, some basic principles, and the time is currently 7:49. And as of right now, I think that is it. As I feel that that we should kind of end closer to 8 o'clock. I had to use a different computer just because my sad little computer was not able to compute. What I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm just going to set up another webinar. And so I'm going to try and shoot for Thursday next week, and I will have the layout as a couple of other things, but this is just kind of the experimentation run. So I'll just go ahead and push this over to YouTube. So then that way you guys can start from the beginning and see all of the shenanigans. So, but yeah, we'll try this again, and hopefully it'll be a little bit better, because I feel a little bit frazzled right now. So I feel like I'm not giving the best of advice that I could be giving. So yes, thank you for joining me, and I hope that you guys send off any questions that you would. All right, thank you very much. Have a good one. Bye.